Bless You by Stephen Lake. Rogue and his team loaded into the beta version of a brand new F5 MMO game and soon found themselves on a beach at the edge of a vast ocean. Not far away, floating in the water in front of them, was a large submarine akin to those seen in fantasy adventures of old. "So exactly what kind of game is this supposed to be?" asked one of his team. "From what I understand, it's a submersible adventure reminiscent of mid-2200s sea questing," said Rogue. "Nice. I could go for some old-school style classic gaming." "As long as you can swim," chided one of the others. "Keep it up and I'll drown you myself," teased the first. Everyone laughed at this. Rogue then made a gentle swipe in the air and brought up H9 low-graphic HUD display. On it was a single message that read, "Begin game." The others looked at this in surprise. "A simple UI like that seems kinda odd for such a polished game," said one of them. "That's because it's not. This is an alpha release that they want us to test and find any bugs we can," replied Rogue flatly. The other teammates laughed. "So, in other words, they asked you to try it out and break whatever we can so they know where the game is fragile." One of them giggled. "Bro, that's hardly a valid test. I mean, this guy breaks even polished games. So it'll be no effort for him to break an alpha release," chided another. Rogue furrowed a brow at this, but said nothing. He then pressed the start button, at which point the submarine rushed forward, onto the beach, through the sand, and stopped next to them. The others all looked at this in disbelief. "Well, that's clearly got some clipping problems," quipped one of them. The team soon boarded the submarine, and then made their way to their stations while Rogue took the captain's chair. The submarine soon backed out of the beach, headed out to sea, and then dove to periscope depth. Moments later, another display appeared on the bridge that said, "Collect all the oysters you can find." The others looked at the message incredulously. "Oysters? As a mission? You gotta be kidding me," said one of them. "No doubt, bro. What is this? A kid's game?" asked another. "Well, they did say it was an alpha release," replied the first. "It's more like a should-have-been bit-nooked ages ago version," replied the third. Rogue laughed at this, but said nothing. However, right at this moment, due to his little guffaw, Rogue felt a tickle in his nose. At first he ignored it, but slowly, bit by bit, the itching began to grow. He wiggled his nose in a vain effort to stifle it. But, unfortunately, it wouldn't go away. It wasn't long after this before the others started to take notice. "You all right, Rogue?" one of them asked. Rogue shook his head, but said nothing as he continued to fight the urge to sneeze. The others, as they continued to watch this, began to grow concerned. "Rogue, if you're going to sneeze, don't do it in here. Transport out, sneeze, and then come back in. It'll be fine. The game should allow it," said one of his teammates. But Rogue didn't listen as he continued to fight the urge to sneeze. He said as the urge continued to grow. Just then, suddenly, and without warning, he lost the battle and was forced to sneeze, and did so with so much force that he completely obliterated the submarine. Moments later, Rogue and the others all respawned on the same shoreline where they'd started the game and stared out across the water as bits and pieces of the now exploded submarine began to rain back down into the waters in front of them. Not long after this, a small information screen appeared in front of them that read, "Mission failed. Try again." However, the team ignored this and instead turned and glared darkly at Rogue. "Dude, seriously?" they said in unison. Rogue, however, merely grinned sheepishly at this. "Sorry." The end.